Hello and welcome to the Eorzean Update, a behind-the-scenes discussion podcast about Final Fantasy XIV Online for the HJP Podcast Network. I'll be your host, Houka, a definitely not voice-sent creature that in reality a 7'2" Ellison Glamazon with a taste for the ruby red.
And I'm Violet, a totally not feral Vieira sitting comfortably upon a massive pile of minions, mounts, and glam.
Today we'll be discussing patch 7.31, which has been out for a little bit now, and all the different interviews that Yoshi P has been doing in Gamescom and other conventions that he's been to. Look forward to it.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to point about 7.31, let's get into this, okay? So, of course, with the patch notes, there you can follow along. We'll have links below to the lodestone where you'll see the actual patch notes. We, of course, got a new planet for cosmic exploration for all of our crafters and gatherers out there.
Which I've been spending a lot of time on.
A lot of people have been spending the rewards for this time around look amazing. Not only is there a very cool like transport mount, but there's also the hoverboard. The
Which I'm
hoverboard.
so excited for, and I've been trying to get that so badly.
I know it's apparently something that takes a lot more time and effort to get than some of the other rewards, because don't you have to do the top level crafting, and then you would get certain tickets for certain things, and then you have to kind of gather them all up to be able to get your hoverboard. It's very similar to the bicolor gemstone script sort of situation where you gather up enough of them and you can go get a really cool mount.
Yeah.
So it's a similar situation. I am on the process of many of those things. Who knows if I'll ever complete it? But let's see. Next thing we've also got, in if we're talking about relics and other cool items, is we have the phantom weapons. We got the next phase of that. Are you working on your relics, Houka?
I plead the fifth. I've been so focused on leveling up my all my crafting right now. I have so far my mining and my another crafter at 100 right now, and I'm slowly working on everyone else. So yeah, that's what I've been focused on. The phantom weapon part, yeah, I will get to that eventually.
Well, the content isn't leaving the game anytime soon,
No.
so you've got plenty of time. I was lucky enough to be able to grind out all of my uh pieces that I needed to get my relics started. And so I got all of my relics for all of my jobs. I have all of them at 100 because or the max level, cuz I'm one of those people. And so I'm now in the Aether Well phase of this. The first phase just requires you to either go and buy a bunch of individual items. You can get them off the market board, or you can craft them yourself. There's also one item that needs to be bought with bicolor gemstones. The great part about it is that all of it's tradable. So you can either find a friend or go to the market board and acquire things very easily, but then you have to start your Aether Well. That's a bunch of doing your daily roulettes, and you have one of two different ways you can do it. You can go the sane route, which is you can do your daily roulettes for alliance raids, normal raids, trials, and high level dungeons, and just take the bonus and take the little bit of Aetherwell pool that it gives you and go about your day. And eventually, after about, I think it was, we figured it out to be about 11 to 14 days, you'll have all your Aether Wells filled, and yay, you can go get your first relic. Or you can take the other route, and you can just sit there and spam dungeons and roulettes until it's full. Uh, I'm not gonna tell you which method I recommend, but those are the two accepted methods. There were also a bunch of changes to PvP. Most jobs came out pretty good in the changes. The big thing that we're also looking at is the changes to purity. So previously, purity had a really long cooldown, so you could actually use it as a strategy to be able to take people down in PvP, is to basically get them to waste their purity and then be able to hit them with a stun attack from one of your friends. Now, because purity is much easier to get to, it's much harder to stun lock people. So PvP has become much spicier
Oh,
in
it has
recent
been.
days.
I've been doing a lot of PvP lately, and I'm going in there as a machinist. And I don't know why I didn't do it before, but I've been enjoying it a lot more than I have in years past.
Yeah,
So,
it's a much more active mode now that you can actually clear those status effects much more quickly.
oh, yeah, most definitely.
Um, yeah, we got to the second world Fana on Cosmic Exploration, and
That's always
then
that's been exciting.
yes, and then of course that came with improvements to our cosmic tools. We got lots of different faceware items, new minions, and new mounts, so that's awesome. Uh, the big thing I wanted to also kind of point out for those who may not have been trying it, go check out Palace of the Dead, because deep dungeons are about to have a massive overhaul. One of the big things happened in this patch, which is we now get sustaining potions will drop off of minions as well as and monsters, as well as out of chests. So now it's a lot easier to access all of the quick healing potions that you used to have to buy with Gelmore and Potsherds. Now you just get them off of mobs. Beyond that, if you've ever slowed down your grind in Palace of the Dead, or because you grinding out your Aether pool takes a really long time, well, now it's going to take about a fifth of the time, because each chest, instead of dropping one plus one to your Aether pool or your Aether gear, now it drops plus five. So we've been going crazy going through Palace of the Dead with my team, and I've got at least two other team members who were able to go and get new Aether Pool grips. So now we're enjoying the glam out of Palace of the Dead, whereas before it was a real detriment.
Huh. Well, I tried Palace of the Dead solo before, and I'm like sitting there going, I'm gonna die.
It is in fact the experience. The thing that I also am enjoying is that this is of course coming in patch 7.35, which will be upcoming hopefully in the next few months, but it's going to make a big change to both Palace of the Dead and hopefully Deep Dungeons in general, in that being able to pick yourself up and move forward will no longer be the I got to floor 170 and now I died and have to start all the way over from 51.
Yeah,
Now you'll get to start over from 150, or I think it's actually would be like 140. But still, if you start over from 140 to 170, that is a much smaller grind than
then if you
having to go
started
from
all over,
51.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I love that change because it's like you work so hard to grind all the way up there. Like, at least give me a closer save point than I'm at 170, now I'm back all the way down to 50. It's like
Yeah.
that deflates you so fast.
It really does, and, like, you feel so good because 'cause you've gotten so close to that 200th floor, and you've worked so hard, and then like, the terrible confluence of events can happen. Like, we had one run recently where, the gloom was spreading, which, of course, means you do less damage and more damage is done to you, and you heal slower, right?
Yeah.
On top, it's just all bad. And then on top of that, we then got hit with 2 other status effects, and then a bunch of monsters hit us all at once, and team down. Team down! And that was on
No.
floor 150, and so restarted to 51. That's how it
Ugh.
goes. I will not admit to crying, but I will admit to thinking about it real hard.
No, that's yeah, I don't know how anyone does it. That would drive me insane. Like, and I'm the type of person that have no issue like grinding the same dungeons or anything that nature. But if I reach that high and I have to start all the way back to 50, I will sit there and I will cry.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot.
Because it's
Now,
at that point it's not just like an investment in time, but it's an investment in emotion because you're just like getting inching closer to that 200 mark and whatnot. So
oh
it's
yeah.
it's a oh that's a lot, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was a little upset, I will admit. Um, I was I was trying to hold together, but like, eh, in the end, what you gonna do? Just gotta start over and do what you can.
But this
Totally
new
not
change.
mad at all at my teammate who is also my wife. Never.
But
It's
hopefully
fine.
this new change will definitely bring more players back into Deep Dungeon and whatnot. So that should be
I
a definite
really
plus.
hope so. I am super excited for it. All right. So there, of course, was a bunch of resolved issues. I encourage people to go through and read through the resolved issues and the known issues, just because if you ever wind up running into some of these things, you can understand whether or not it's something that's currently being worked on, or it's something that has actually been detailed or taken care of. There's a bunch of things to do with the Sandoria, the second walk, wherein the radius of certain boss attacks differed from the intended range. So there were some people who were being attacked from like across the room, which was not great. So if you've had a lot of difficulties in Sandoria, which by the way, I would suggest people try out because that raid is a lot of fun, but it's not meant to be quite so deadly. So they changed the range on some of those attacks.
Oh wow.
There, yeah, Vault Anira, Oniron, or if you're a memer, One Iron, wherein the damage dealt by the enemy attack acceleration bomb was lower than intended. So now that got spicier. So for the people who have been enjoying the new spicy treasure dungeons, it just got spiced. Yay! um,
Oh yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of resolved issues, a lot of known issues. Like Violet said, just go. We will have a link to it in the description or whatnot, so that way you guys can check out the patch note and all that good stuff.
One of the big things I appreciate that they added is that there is now an indicator on your Phoenix down if you put it on a hotbar, and it will tell you whether or not someone is in range for you to be able to use your Phoenix down on them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That, yeah, I absolutely love that. Mind you, disclaimer, you can only use the Phoenix down where? Only in dungeons, right?
You can only use it in treasure dungeons. That's the only 8-man content, by the way, that you can use a Phoenix down in, is treasure dungeons. Other than that, it's 4-man content or it's overworld content.
Okay. Just a disclaimer,
So,
just in case
yeah,
people who like walk into like a savage and be like, I could use my Phoenix down. I was like, no, you can't.
no, you can't. Nope, nope, nope. And in fact, you can't use it in trials, whether they're normal or otherwise. You can't use it in raids at all. So yeah, Phoenix Down is a great improvement, and it has made going through dungeons definitely a lot easier and a lot more salvageable than certain situations would have led to in the past. Now everyone essentially has the option of backup res. Hooray! But
Yay.
it's not something that you can use everywhere. So keep that in mind.
As a
Mm-hmm.
red mage, I'm still a res mage.
Yeah. Yeah. No one took your job away.
No.
The other thing about the Phoenix Down I want to remind people of is that it can be interrupted. And so if it is interrupted while you are trying to cast the Phoenix Down, it is considered to be used. So that is not something you want to use if you are taking heavy hits at the time. So if you're a tank, don't worry about your Phoenix Down. Phoenix Down is for your DPS or for your healers who are trying to deal with not a severe lack of mana or something like that. So it's really just a backup res for all of your DPS.
Ah, sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Group pose had some misalignments. I've been having some weird things in group pose where I would try to take pictures after several events that we were doing, and characters would just be flipped around, and I was like, "What is happening? This is weird."
No, so luckily I have not had that issue when I'm doing G poses or whatnot. I have had the community like, mention it in Discord and whatnot, like, why is this person like flipped around or why I think who was it? One of the members was wondering why another member was like floating in the air. I was like, I don't see this. Like, what's going on here? So
Right.
yeah,
There's been a lot of weird graphical things happening.
but it's like it's mainly on like the client side. So like even though
Yeah.
I don't see it, someone else in our community is seeing it, and so it generates this hilarious picture and
Yeah.
whatnot. So it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it's a picture. So
Yeah, it's not something that's game breaking, but at the same time, it's good to know that they are working on it and they are trying to make sure that they get that all solved for everyone. A few known issues just to watch out for though. If you are spending all of your time in cosmic exploration and you are enjoying the pilot application system where you go and you pilot the mech and then you do the different events, you want to make sure that you don't switch your primary tool that you were working with via these methods, which is switching your primary tool via your character window or your armory chest. If you do so, it may cause a bug which will um, change your application and lead to the forfeit of your application of your pilot license or your pilot application. So basically, if you want to participate in the event, try not to change your tool as of right now because it may activate that bug.
just to be clear, we can switch it before making the application, right?
Yep, before you put in the pilot
Yeah,
application is fine. After you put the pilot application in, you can switch it via just gear change, but making sure that you don't actually go into your armory chest or into the character window and make changes that way, because there is currently a bug with those two windows being open during the pilot application process. So just for now, make sure that you're on the job you want to be on when you put in your application for the pilot license thing.
yeah. I tried applying for it. They keep on telling me I'm not high enough. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll have other people do it, but at the same time, they're like, eventually, I would like to do it,
Yeah.
just to experience it once. But yeah, I think the next time I'm in the area and there's an event or whatnot, I will try to do that because I think I have a couple job classes that I can definitely try and get it done. So
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I did the pilot application thing because I have all of my crafters and gatherers at 100, so it never gave me any error messages or anything. So I would just go in and submit the application, and I got to do it several times, and it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun piloting a
nice.
little mech and doing the little fate event. I like it. There's also some quest icons with Go Forth Brave Explorers that are not showing for Sinus Ardrum, but that doesn't seem to be anything except for a visual map error. There's you can speak with scanning way during cosmic exploration, wherein under certain conditions dialogue indicating the player has not made any contributions during the current ranking period is erroneously displayed despite the player having contributed. That's a text only issue. So if you go up and you talk to Scanning Way and you want to find out what your standings are in cosmic exploration, and he says, "Oh, you haven't done anything." Well, more than likely that's just a text-based issue if you know that you have.
Oh, thanks for the item, but you did nothing.
It's like, wait,
Nothing.
but I was here the whole time.
You did nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
um,
No, I mean, if it's just a text only issue, then I don't see an issue. But that at the same time, though, if you're reading that, like, wait a minute, I did do something. I just spent a
right,
half an hour out there. What are you talking about?
exactly, or more than that. Like, I will be honest with you. I'm gonna express some a little frustration here with the cosmic exploration. Like, part of the reason why people were excited about it is because there was going to be a leaderboard about how much contribution you were going to be putting in, and that was one of the things that people enjoyed a lot about the Ishgardian restoration when it was first opened, was being able to see the different contributions that people were making to different things. It's nice to see progress, you know? It's also nice to be acknowledged for the progress that you're making. And for
Yeah.
this to be something that has had so many struggles, is not great. It's not great.
No, like I would like to see how much I contributed as well because it's like I know I could have contributed a whole lot more, and I did so in my old data center
Right.
and whatnot. But like I don't know if that's an issue because I went from one data center to another, and so therefore it would throw everything off. But at the
Mhm.
same time, though, it's like in Dynamis, in Kraken, I like to know how much I have actually contribute, especially in the past few days or whatnot. So it would have been like a nice indicator, like where I'm at and stuff like that. I'm not looking to shoot to the top. That's not my goal.
Right.
My goal is how much have I actually contribute in this status bar that you have display at the very top of the window each time I'm there.
Right.
So like show me how much of that pie that I've actually done. So
And it would feel really good, especially on a less populated data center like we have over here on Dynamis, to be able to feel like you're making a more personal contribution because we have consistently been behind on the cosmic exploration changes and updates because we just don't have as many people doing the thing. So being able to see your contribution could be potentially very encouraging to continue grinding it out for the benefit not just of yourself, but also of the entire data center, you know, or of the
yeah.
entire server. So, yeah, I would really like to see them get these problems resolved and to get things to the point where people can actually access it uh with and get the correct feedback. So, yeah, that's a struggle.
Until they figure it out, I mean, it's going to be what it is, and unfortunately, we just have to live with it into the meantime. But yeah, it would have been nice just to see how much of that pie that we're actually putting into.
Right.
So,
Okay, so here's the thing. Why don't you go ahead and since you've been spending more time there recently than I have, go ahead and give us like feedback on what do you think is going on with cosmic exploration. Are you enjoying it? Is it something that you could do without? Like, what's up?
so So I'm using the area right now mainly to level up my crafting, gathering jobs a little bit quicker. Gives me another place for them to level up much faster, doing different things as opposed to, you know, the dailies that you would do is like here, make this, turn it in, you'll get ton of experience. This gives me another nice area to like, hey, you know, it's something new. It's not, you know, going to what's the other thing that we can do as well?
It's like
Society quest,
Ishgardian. Yeah.
yeah, society quest or whatnot. And so, you know, I mean, you're not going into the same areas, you know,
So it's
throughout the
not
entire week.
like the Lev Quest grind, because I'm gonna be honest with you,
No.
I was on that Lev Quest grind to get my crafters and gatherers. I did grand company turn-ins on a daily, and then I went and I sat in front of a Lev Quest person and basically just made a crap ton of Lev Quest items and then just turned them in. And it was a lot of just standing in front of somebody and just turn in, turn in, turn in, turn in, turn in. It
The,
wasn't
the,
exciting, but it was effective. I got all my stuff to level 100. I will admit, I went into Cosmic Exploration. I was very excited for it when it first dropped, and I love the aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. I love a lot of things about Cosmic Exploration. Um, I love that it includes the Loporrits because, as a bunny girl, I absolutely adore anything bunny. That's awesome. I love the whole Star Trek style stuff. Like, I'm very into it, very, very into it. But the actual like crafting and gathering itself, oof,
so yeah,
it was.
that's my major complaint right now. Not major complaint really. Mainly, how can I put it? They made it too easy to complete the quest or whatnot. Because before, like on the moon, especially as you know, my miner was like high level, high 90s or whatnot before I reached 100. I had a difficult time with like some of the missions on there because a lot of them were like low level and whatnot. I'm pretty sure it was my gear at the time. Things did improve once I upgraded my gear, which I was like,
Yeah.
oh, so this is a thing. So,
Gear, who knew?
yeah, gear stats, surprise. But at the same time though, it's like now that I have the appropriate gear and stuff like that, like I just accept the quest. They gave me the stuff that I need. I make the items, and then boom, mission done. I'm like, cool, and I get tons of XP. I can sit there for like half an hour, and just do that, and I'll get a ton of experience for just one job as well. I love the aesthetic, just like you, but at the same time, though, it's like, um, it does get a little bit boring up there, and so that's why I'm like, I only spent like 30 minutes, an hour, just doing the missions, the critical missions, the events that happens up there as well. So it's like it's one of those things where it's fun and exciting for like the first 30
Hmm.
to hour, and then afterwards it's like, okay, I'm gonna do other things.
Right. Yeah, I think I don't know. Once I get done with my relic grind, because currently I've been more on the, I don't know. I go through phases. Like when I'm in my introvert phase and I want to just kind of be left alone, I'm just gonna sit off to the side and do my crafting and gathering. I could see that cosmic exploration would be a lot of fun because it's just a nice, quiet little mini game that you do basically by yourself with occasional interactive elements with other people. But when I'm currently in my extrovert era, so I'm all about, let me get in that party finder, let me do them unreals, let's do that ex, let's do that thing. And so I don't want to sit in one place and do anything for long periods of time. So maybe when I get back in my introvert era, I will be like, no, leave me alone, I am on the moon.
I'm on another planet right now. Don't bug me. No, I mean
Yeah.
that's a nice thing. Like that's the nice thing. Just like you, like yesterday, I'm like I just didn't want to, I didn't want to do any roulettes and anything. Like I just want to go somewhere quiet, and and that was the perfect spot. Let me just grind away some job levels and get some XP because a lot of my um, crafting jobs are very low level, and so like
Yeah.
that was the perfect spot. Let me do this, you know, and the thing is though, like I'm like one of those things where it's like let me see what's the reason. So there's like a list of missions that you can complete and all that stuff. And
Uh-huh.
what I discovered in on the moon was like there's a list that you can unlock and try to unlock all of them. And I'm like, why was I not doing this? I was like essentially like what I was doing was picking the missions with the highest XP and let's just get it done so that I can level up my job real quick. Now
Right.
I'm in the mode of let me see what missions I have not done and try to complete it just so I can unlock all the mission lists of for that particular job. So I'm in that grind, you can say,
Right.
for of like unlocking all the missions for most of the jobs that I'm doing up there. So that's my mentality when I go up there.
Ooh, that's cool. So, okay, here we go. The controversy. Gotcha. The gotcha. How do you feel about the cosmic exploration gotcha?
Give me my mount. Just give me the mount.
It's like give me the stuff. Give it to
I
me.
do not want another bag of magic tech explosion thingy. I don't care about that. Give me the mount. I already have the laptop, and but because I got the laptop from my retainer, uh, give
Ooh.
me the yes. So I was really surprised. I signed up my retainer. Retainer came back with the cosmic laptop. I'm like, it's now sitting on in my house on the desk, and it's really nice.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. I gotta
So
get it. New housing
I,
item. New
I
housing
know,
item.
right? So I got that, and it showed up in the wheel like 5 times yesterday, but I'm like, no, give me the mount, give me the mech mount that I've been trying for a good month and a half now. Give me the mount. No, I don't mind it. I understand what they're trying to make it harder for people to obtain some of the rewards and whatnot, but at the same time though. I'm hitting that spin and I'm like, I know where this is landing, and it is nowhere near what I want.
I have the worst luck of everything. Okay, so let's talk about some other things that maybe some updates lately that I've been excited about. Let's talk about treasure dungeons.
I I love the new treasure maps. I absolutely adore
Oh,
them.
the time worn Gargantua skin maps that lead to Vault Aniran. Oh my goodness, they're so fun. Not only are the fights more fun, but just the entire concept of the slot machine. You can just hear us chanting every single time we go do them. It's like all hail Hypno Slot, all hail Hypno Slot. It's awesome. So we've been really, really, really enjoying those. And so we've gotten to the point now where we like them so much that me and my little FC of weirdos, we go out every single day and we have not missed a map pickup from gathering this for the last like 2-3 weeks. Like every single day we are gathering a map, and then we gather them all up, and then at least one weekend day for a few hours we're getting together and going and doing them because they're just that fun. And then of course there's the option to traumatize savage raiders by getting the yawn mount or the yawn minion.
I want that mount so bad.
It's so adorable. It
It
makes a
is.
squeaky toy noise when you get on it and when you leave. It's hilarious. There's also the new. I saw the Gimme Cat drop last night, or the Gimme Kitten. The Gimme Kitten's also an NPC from the Raid series, and it is a weird looking cat, but it is cute, and I love him, and I want him. He has to join the pile. Let's see. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really great rewards. Let's also talk about for a second faceware. Faceware has exploded. How do you feel about the glasses and finally being able to have like hats and glasses separately?
I love it. Are you kidding me? Like it's something that I know this is something that a lot of glamours have been clamoring for forever, and the fact that we can now have a hat and sunglasses at the same time, as opposed
Oh
to
yeah.
choosing one or the other, is fantastic. Like my character right now wears glasses just like I do in real life, and so that like it makes me be more closer to my character
It's
than
like you
ever
feel more
before.
connected. It's like it's more of an
Exactly,
avatar, like a projection into the world. It's so cool. Yeah,
exactly.
all
So
of
like,
my yeah.
uh, no, go ahead.
No, all my friends who are like glasses wearers in real life have very much been like, I love it because and then of course all the our peers who are like for years I had to wear certain hat items because I wanted to, show this aspect of my character, either having, low eyesight or being like nearly blind or all of these other different like storytelling aspects that they create about their character. And I think that's the big thing for me is I love whenever they include things that add more storytelling. I'm also going to just give a shout out to Hats for Vieira's. Thank you for finally listening, Mr. Yoshi Peas, and giving us Vieira hats,
I
even
know,
if it
right?
is just cloth hats. I get hats now. Yay! But all right, so I think now's the time we can like move on to things that we may be excited for in the future, and some things that maybe Yoshi has been talking about at different interviews at different conventions. We had quite a few of them at the end of August and at the beginning of September.
I don't envy the man because he traveled quite a bit and a lot of interviews during this time. So
Oh my
like
god, he's the machine.
I
Oh
don't
my
know how
goodness.
I can't imagine how many packs of cigarettes he had to go through to get those done. So
Oh my gosh. I I I quit smoking ages ago, back in the ancient times. So, but yeah, no, I could imagine there was a lot of coffee and a lot of nicotine involved in these things because that's a lot of stuff. But see, so he mentioned quite a few things. We don't have to talk about them necessarily in order or anything like that. But one of the things I definitely wanted to mention is that there is a very particular order apparently the devs have been following, and I think it's fairly obvious that Final Fantasy XIV caters quite a bit to its rating community in the development cycle. We get a lot of things on the casual end, but the casual things that we get are seem to be more cosmetic based than
mhm.
actual interaction based, which is, to be fair, not great. It's kind of okay at best. But when we're talking about the mid core raiders, the people who ultimate maybe isn't their goal, maybe they're much more interested in just doing raiding, but maybe just a little bit harder than extreme, or just doing extremes but not necessarily on level, on content, the latest greatest thing. There's not a lot. There's just, we wind up with a lot of gaps in that sort of thing. So, what are your thoughts on Yoshi P mentioning that he wants to change the development hierarchy?
If it works, I think it'd be a great thing. But it's also a delicate balance as well. Like you
Yeah.
cannot do a complete overhaul on the development process just to cater to the players or whatnot. Like it has to be something that's got to be, it can't be slow building, but it has to be enough just to satisfy the players as well. Like I'm just gonna siren myself at this point. So I worked at as a QA for a FPS online shooter and whatnot.
Ooh.
So I'll probably mention it sometime in the future, but not right now. But like
So you
that
have
comp
some like insider knowledge of how the QA process works and how like
yes,
development goes. That's cool.
yes. So um the one thing that like we have at one point we have given suggestions on how what the players would want. Like,
Uh-huh.
the game mechanic was like, you have three sides, you're all fighting each other or whatnot to try to dominate certain points or whatnot. And then we threw the idea up out there of like a world event of something that all three sides would have to force um and take down and whatnot. Of course, that got denied and whatnot. But I thought that was a cool idea to try to integrate some sort of like unity between the three different factions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But that probably would have thrown like the whole hierarchy of development way off course than whatnot. So like I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. I love 14. I love the way it is right now. Can it
Uh-huh.
change? Could it change for the better? If they do it right, I'm all for it. But they have to be very, very careful on how they proceed with this.
I would say that one of the things I love is that, and I really encourage everyone when the new Deep Dungeon comes out. I think they're putting a lot onto the new Deep Dungeon and how it's going to be received by players, because it's going to be our first example of truly scalable content. So it's content where you've heard about how they want to treat the final boss essentially of the new Deep Dungeon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So to clarify and go over it, what they're going to include is, normally the final boss of a deep dungeon is something that you work through so many floors, like for instance, Palace of the Dead, it's 200 floors to get to the final boss. You then either defeat the final boss and get your rewards and yay, or you fail and you have to start back over at floor 51 and you got to grind all the way back up to 200, which means that if it's your first time seeing it, or you're going in blind, and you're not using a guide, and you're actually wanting to experience the content for yourself, then that means your prog doesn't, and your progress in learning the fight isn't just the fight. It's also having to redo that 150 or 149 floors to get there. And then you have a chance to prog the fight. Well, they're making a huge change in 7.35 with the new Deep Dungeon, which is going to be the Pilgrim's Progress. The entire concept of that Deep Dungeon, by the way, fills a deep, deep well in my soul. Like the fairies take you upon the Pilgrim's Traverse. It's so great. Anyway, so you will get a chance if you get to floor 100 for the new Deep Dungeon. If you fail in your progress or you don't win the fight, first off, then when you get kicked out, you don't necessarily start all the way over. First off, you get a 30 floor reduction. So that's already better. But more than that, you now get access just by making it to that floor to the floor 99 practice boss, as it were. So you can then just go and log in with your group and prog through the fight before you redo your floor run.
Nice. Hmm.
Okay. So that's really cool. And then on top of it, to give you almost like an extreme or even a replayability feature, there are different items that you can get that you can then turn in, that will then change the boss's uh different stats, so you can actually have a different fight every time.
Oh, that's amazing. As opposed to doing the same fight over and over and over and over
Right,
again.
and don't get me wrong, like, I'm all for things being same to be able to learn it, but at the same time, if you're talking about repeatable content, just imagine, for example, alright, Hades EX, I have done that. I literally did that fight over 100 times to get that mount. I don't even wanna talk about how many times I've done that fight. Like, I can give you the entire breakdown of that timeline for that fight, step by step by step. But let's just imagine that you could go with your team and gather up different items, and the different items that you hand in, to be able to go into that fight, change the mechanics. They change the mechanics that you have to deal with. You can have a fight where it's all mechanics, but there's very little health. So maybe you're not as worried about your uptime, but you are instead having to dodge mechanics, dodge this, dodge that, dodge the other, just to be able to get a chance to hit them. And then you can also reset it so that they have a lot of health, but maybe you're not having to bounce through as many mechanics. Or you can go for the ultimate god mode where they're, super strong, tons of mechanics, everything's difficult. It's like the ultimate version of that boss.
Yeah.
That entire concept is so cool.
No, and I'd be down for that because it's like if you have different tiers for like the deep dungeon or whatnot, that I think you're gonna bring a lot more players to do deep dungeons. I mean, and like you could of course scale the rewards as well. So like if you're doing the
Hmm.
ultimate, of course you're gonna get the best
Oh
looking
yeah,
item in the deep dungeon. If you're doing like mid or whatnot, and so on and so forth. But it's like if you scale it to that just so people can go in and enjoy it the way that they
yeah,
want to. If you do that, you're gonna have a lot more people talk about deep dungeon for a
yeah.
very long time.
And I think one of the things that Yoshi P brought up is that they're thinking about extending that idea if it works out and the feedback is good to other aspects of the game. So we may see that. And this is where people kind of freaked out a little bit because he said less content, but more functionality. And I think there might have been a translation problem because, of course, the problem with translating from Japanese into English sometimes is it becomes very literal
Yeah.
in English. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and head out onto a limb, and this is a little supposition on my part, but based on previous interviews, I believe that Yoshi P is saying that they are going to be focusing more on creating scalable content that more people can engage in, but maybe creating less content overall. So instead of spending tons of time in development, spinning their wheels, creating things like the grand company squadron and also adding in trust and adding in NPC assist and adding in this and that and the other. Instead, they're going to be refocusing their development time to creating really good fun fights that are scalable in both difficulty and in the engagement wise with the player base.
And I'll be all for that. Like we don't need a whole bunch of content that you're all working at the same time. Give me something that you guys are focusing on, make it better, and then
Right.
so that way everyone's enjoying it. Essentially, just like what was it? Was it Applebee's or Chili's that they scaled down from their, many pages of menus or whatnot to, and they scale it down to like where it's only like a couple pages at most, but they do it really well. And I
Yeah.
think, and I think as games get more graphical, get more advanced, and all that stuff, give me something that has good substance that I can enjoy it for a very long time. Essentially, that's what any gamer, any MMO player out
Uh-huh.
there wants is give me content that you focus on.
Replayability.
Exactly. Just give me good replayability. That's essentially
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
The same. It's like I'm already primed for playability anyway because I happily do roulettes. I'm the person who there are 72 different or even more now I think, but there's so many dungeons and trials and all of these things. What if instead of feeling like we had to be on the constant hamster wheel or the constant cycle of tons. What if instead, let's take Stone Vigil for instance. The Stone Vigil everybody hates and everybody's so frustrated with because it's older content. But what if instead of revisiting it and just making it so we can get through it with NPCs, how about if we actually made that scalable type content? If we actually just imagine how cool it would be if you could literally just change the mechanics of the dungeon that you're in, or you
Yeah.
could, change the bosses up or whatever. That would be great. Like you could keep the story the same, but maybe have a different flavor. And I am all for that. I think that's going to be a huge improvement.
Oh no,
Um,
I agree because it's like now you go in there and you're like, okay, we can just sleepwalk through this,
right. The other
essentially.
But also let's think about it in terms of development time. So you know this from actually working in the industry, and I will admit that I have a lot of like games industry friends. I've never worked in the industry personally, but I have worked in film and I know a little bit about long production times and things like that for projects. The amount of production time that you have to put into creating something new from scratch versus trying to uh just make what you already have something that can be enjoyed by multiple different skill levels is a totally different timeline, and it would free up so much development time for things like glam plates, being able to get a more robust housing system, all the customization features that we want, because that's also fun. But because it's considered to be casual content and it's not driving a story and it's not driving the overall focus of the game to this point, means that a lot of those systems were, if it works systems. You know what I mean?
No, and I understand. I understand all that. And essentially, it's a lot harder to implement a new system like that with the current build of the game without
Uh
trying
huh.
to break it.
Right.
If you for instance, the FF14 mobile game that's it's out there, right? It's a
Oh, we're
whole
going
lot
to talk
easier.
about the mobile game.
Just very
Okay.
briefly. The reason why I'm throwing it out there is because one of the implementations that they have in the mobile game is diable mounts.
I know, right?
Where's that in the main game? But I also understand that if you try to implement that into the main game without breaking it, that's going to be a whole lot
Yeah.
harder because you have such a huge variety of codes and whatnot, and any
Oh, yeah.
small mishap happen to just a color or which part of
Yep.
the mount that you're trying to color can break the game. So essentially, it's a very delicate process to do something in a much massive scale like that.
And I know at one point that they had mentioned that this is one of the reasons why they have problems with the glam system, is just to get the glam system to where it's at right now was a series of trying to take a system that was very kind of jankily implemented in the original like ARR, and then
Yeah.
has been slowly kind of evolved into what it could be today. And while it's not by far the worst system at all, it could be so much better. But the code that they're working with is so delicate, apparently, that the glam chest system actually broke the game in development multiple times, just completely crashed it out. So and it's because it's an item database is
Yep.
literally what it is, and item databases will just create the biggest problems. So they're going to have to completely overhaul the engine. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen for the main game anytime soon, but I do feel as though the mobile game is definitely Yoshi P's sort of way of going, hey, look at what we could have done if we'd had the money and the time to rebuild a whole new game engine. Look how cool this is. Hey.
And and quite frankly, he's not wrong because he was pretty much taking, 1.0 and
Right.
essentially, at the same time updating 1.0 and then working on ARR with essentially using the same engine but making it look better and without breaking it. as opposed to
Uh-huh.
starting completely starting over from scratch.
Right.
I believe that's what they did. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
No, he's already mentioned they basically had to take the 1.0 code and they had to build it up from there. And while they made a lot of changes, they couldn't completely overhaul the engine.
Yeah,
And so yeah, it was a not great, or at least not optimal way to restart a game that you wanted to be like truly rebuilt. You instead had to kind of work with a framework which was meh.
but at the same time though, if you build something from scratch, you're looking
Right.
at 3, 4 years of development just to
Oh
get
yeah.
it up there. So
Oh yeah.
essentially, we would not be getting 2.0 until like way later. And then at that point,
Oh yeah.
where's your fan base going to be during that time? So it's
Exactly.
it's a balancing act. It's
Oh yeah.
essentially what it is.
It is. All right. So one of the things that, of course, now we have to talk about, Yoshi P has mentioned several times 8.0. 8.0 is on the horizon. Here it comes.
Yes.
um, I personally, I will not be joining the Dawn Trail Hater Club. I actually like it, but I also have to admit that it is fully exposition. And the least popular part of any novel, book, story, anything you start is the exposition, because it's the very beginning. And it doesn't matter how good your beginning is, it's still the beginning where we're just like introducing all of the characters and giving all the weird names for the places and the stuff. Like, so
Torilolo
it
or
that right.
Lalaloyo.
What you Mickey Mickey. So it becomes like a whole thing where, don't get me wrong, I actually really like the character of Wooklamont. It's she reminds me a lot of my friends. She's not me. I'm nothing like this. She's very positive. She's very whatever. But and if you enjoy her, great. And I'm sure that there are a lot of characters that people have met that they've really connected with and they enjoy. But we're not going to go into the story because that's not our deal. That's for somebody else to talk about. We're going to talk about job changes and the actual mechanics changes in 7.0 to now 7.31. How have you been feeling? What do you consider yourself to be a main, Houka? Main?
Depending on what you need.
Yeah, we're both like omni jobbers. So we're like, "Oh, hey, fit me in wherever you need me. We're good."
Except for healer. All my healers are at 100, but I am so not comfortable with healing.
See,
So but
I'm very much support. I'm your support pal. I will do your tanking, I will do your healing. But you want me to DPS? You want me to hit buttons how hard? No, thank you. Like I can
so
do it, but I don't like it.
so for me, ever since my early days of MMO, we can start with EVE Online or whatnot, but I've always been the somewhat with support as well, but not like in terms of tank or healing. I'm more like red mage, where like I'm more of a utility type person, where I
Oh,
can
okay.
I can do damage, but if you
Right.
need a quick res, I can res you real quick and then do some
Okay.
quick healing as well. So and that's why
Right.
I love the red mage because it's like a Swiss Army knife. I can do a
Right.
little bit of everything. I'm not gonna produce the biggest damage,
Right.
but at the same time though, if both my healers are down, I can res them real quickly.
So,
Thank you dual cast, but I can res them real quickly.
right. So, okay. So let's take this from this perspective then, because I play the two roles that are suffering supposedly the most from job was it the job fantasy being all smooth together, so it's like, oh, tank is just
Pretty
one
much.
role now, and it's yeah. So I have a interesting take on this, but let's talk about this from your perspective real quick. So, red mage, do you feel as though red mage is something that is actually unique and different and feels very separate from the other casters, or do you feel like, any caster in a pinch?
How can I put this? So I enjoyed Red Mage because of one, the mobility of the Red Mage has as opposed to
Uh-huh.
Summoner or Black Mage where you essentially have to stay still to cast and whatnot. Like, yes, you have to stay still, but like because of the how fast the cast times are with Red Mage, I can move
Right.
a little much better as opposed to like a Black Mage. Black Mage is like, here's my ley line. I am
Right.
staying right here. Um,
Okay, but like let's also put it in comparison to say Summoner, because Summoner has even more. Like, would you say that Summoner and Red Mage feel the same, or do they feel distinctly different?
I feel well in terms of spell wise, yeah. I mean, they're both different and whatnot, but essentially, when it boils down to, I mean, when you have your rotation or whatnot down, they both are going to be different. Red Mage has the casting ability and the melee ability as well. So it's like
Right.
that's why Red. I love the Red Mage because I have essentially everything right there with the Red Mage.
Right.
Summoner is like I'm sitting back. I'm not going to be as fixated with where I'm standing like the Black Mage or anything. I have a little bit more
Uh-huh.
mobility, but at the same time, I was like, I get to summon giant monsters and stuff like that. So like
Right.
at the end of the day, they are going to be different. Uh, Playability, do they play the same? I mean, on the surface, no, but underneath, yes. If you if you
Okay.
get my drift. So because it's like essentially it's like I'm casting spells and all that stuff, and I just need to know like how long the cast times are going to be. And then once I
Right.
get to a certain point with like a certain ability and whatnot, with especially with Summoner, I can cast things really quick. And it's the same thing with the Red Mage. Once with the dual cast, I can cast one spell, which is going to be like less than 2 seconds. Then I can cast a second spell real
Uh-huh.
quick, or I go up to melee and have my combo combination and on all that stuff,
Right.
rotations and stuff like that. So essentially, surface level, they're different. Underneath, they're
Mhm.
pretty much the same. Would I like them to be even more distinct um, in terms of playability? I would like that because I mainly play Red Mage. I will
Right.
hop over Summoner or Black Mage just so I can remember how to play those classes.
Right.
But but overall though, it's when you boil down to they all pretty much play the same.
Okay.
In my head, they do. Once you get like the rotation down and stuff like that, but that's
See,
just me.
that's okay. So my perspective is someone who's an omni jobber or whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they play the same. I think they play very distinctly different. I would say that certain jobs may have some similarities, but in terms of how you think about playing them, like for instance, Pictomancer is really just a more mobile black mage, to be honest, in the
That is
way that it
true. I forgot
plays.
about Picto.
Um, Pictomancer, though, honestly, just feels so completely distinct from Black Mage in the way that it plays. Is that even though the mobility is kind of the same, honestly, I mean, let's think about this. You have an entire like ground picture that is exactly ley lines. It's just ley lines. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
ley lines that applies to your entire team. So it's like the more support based black mage. Um, but even still, that still locks you into this one area for the period of time that it's on the floor.
Yes.
Same as ley lines. Um, but as far as like red mage being separate from summoner, being separate from picto, being separate from black, see, the role may all feel kind of the same, but as far as I'm concerned, they feel very distinctly different and they play very differently. And maybe that's just me being very sensitive to differences because I've noticed that a lot of people like want big differences. And I think especially in older players who come from the time before the big changes, so like before Endwalker. Endwalker is where we started to see a lot of jobs sort of coalesce. And honestly, from a development point of view, it makes sense because we're up to like 22 jobs, right? Like,
Yeah.
and we're looking at even more in the future. Final Fantasy's always been very job heavy as it is. And the fact that everybody can play all of those jobs is also like a big deal development wise. But let's think about this as like a future term of things. um People are like, we want things more distinct. I'm a tank main, and most specifically I play warrior and paladin most often. And as far as I'm concerned, all of the tanks play at least somewhat differently, even if some of the concepts are very similar. But at the same time, from a support standpoint, every tank needs a rampart. Every tank needs a provoke. Every tank needs a shirk. So to say that we have to have job distinction, well, I think they're actually moving in that direction really well. So now we have warrior, that's the self-healing tank. You have paladin, which is now the truly ranged tank. Have you actually had a chance to try out the new paladin? Since
Yes.
they made the changes. It is so
Yes.
nice. Is it not so
I
nice?
I've been playing Paladin a whole lot more because of it, actually.
Right? It's so great to finally have a truly like magic ranged tank. Gunbreaker actually has a now more distinct phase in the way that it handles its finisher moves.
Yes.
I don't personally love Gunbreaker as much as Endwalker Gunbreaker, but that's because I am a simple creature that needs things to be in one, two, threes.
And you get that
And
with
then
Gunbreaker.
you did up until recently
Yeah.
when you go into your finisher move, and then it's one, two, three, four. Why four?
Where's this fourth button come from?
Why? Why the four?
So let me backtrack a little bit.
Mhm.
So I agree with everything you said. Um,
Right,
they all play differently. I'm not saying like
right,
they're all play the same, but
right,
like because I'll give you an example. Viper for sure does not play like Ninja, and
right.
those two classes are like lumped in together. So
Yeah,
like Viper plays completely different than how you would play as a Ninja. So um like on the surface level, they okay. So overall, they all play differently.
right.
Each one of them has their own abilities and all that stuff. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, mainly because I'm sitting there going,
I think what it comes down to is that people, especially older players, because there's a concept for those who maybe just started playing or, like me, started playing in the late Shadowbringer into Endwalker era.
mhm,
And previously, we had in the early parts of the game. I love going and look at the history, by the way, of this. It's really fun to see the evolution of the Final Fantasy 14s over time. At one point we had a concept called cross classing. So the whole point of omni classing, or trying to grab all the jobs, was because then you could essentially create paladin by the fact that you had white mage, which would then combine with your gladiator, which would then combine into a paladin role, or paladin job, which was very distinctly different in that it had a raise, it had healing abilities, it also had holy powers. And I get that some people are really missing those things, but also having jobs that distinct that relied on each other that way creates such massive development complications, especially when you're talking about 20 something jobs, that like the entire concept of classes even got thrown pretty much out the window after A Realm Reborn. Like, you don't have a sword fighter class that you then turn into a samurai. You just become a samurai,
Yeah.
right? Like there are just certain things where eventually things have to evolve. And I think that what he's talking about with 8.0, so we've got some conflicting information, but as far as the PC Gamer article was talking about, is that there is some job uniqueness that has been lost, I guess, over time with each one of the jobs as they were trying to make sure that every job is viable in its role. So
Yes.
the point I was trying to make is that while I feel as though the jobs are unique and distinct, I can also feel where someone kind of goes, yeah, but any healer slots in as a healer. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. But at the same time, don't you want that? Don't
Y-
you want to be able to go up to a party finder and go, hey, I'm a healer. Please take me into the party?
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's essentially what you want. I mean, yeah,
right,
there's there's like the difference between like the healing classes where I'm a shield healer or I'm a direct heal job or
right,
whatnot. But at the same time though, it's still healing though. So like
right.
you still
And
want
they should
that.
all be right. And they should all be like, it shouldn't be one of those things where, ooh, we're going into this extreme. We can only take this healer. Ooh, we're going into this fight. We can only take this tank. I don't know. I don't want to live in that world.
No, I don't want to
So,
like I don't want to live in a world where like we're really picky on
right.
what particular classes are gonna go with the group or anything like that. So
Right.
it's like
Raiders are already kind of jerky about certain things anyway. Like there was a period of time before potencies got evened out recently where machinists were getting blocked out of stuff because they were, I think, what was it, like 3.5% lower in the meta,
yep,
but they were
yep.
still able to get clears. So what's the real problem here? Is
Uh,
it gatekeeping or is it the job?
a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Maybe. But the what Yoshi P was talking about, he's made some clarifications, is that for in terms of seeing more job uniqueness in 8.0, they're going to be making additions, so new job abilities, new job changes that will be adding things to the jobs rather than making big changes to the base of the job. We're just gonna have to see how that plays out in 8.0. But I will admit, I'm a little excited for it.
I am too, and hopefully that brings some players back and play more of the jobs and whatnot. Like for me, like I leveled Scholar because of Summoner, but I
Right.
have not really spent no more than probably a total of 10 minutes on the job because I was changing glam and whatnot. So
Yeah, I'm not a scholar lover personally, but it was my first healer job, so it's the one I boot camp everybody on, because if you can scholar, you can do everything else. Um,
I
I'll be
my my
honest with
first
you.
my first love for healer was astrologian. So that was my first love right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Astrologian is good. It is good in its aesthetic. It is I have to admit the current iteration is probably my favorite just because the cards are the most understandable.
Hmm.
And they are the most applicable than the previous system. Granted, it's been a little hard for me to like I don't memorize things. So I'm very quickly like grabbing my mouse and mousing thing over things whenever I switch to Astrologian. But all right, the other reason why I'll admit the uniqueness argument or conversation does frustrate me is because it's the sort of thing that leads to Dark Knight losing plunge, which quite frankly was like 50% of the reason why you even played Dark Knight.
Ah,
Was
I
being
would
able to leap into battle.
I miss oh God. I don't know why they got rid of it because it's like is it because all the other tanks doesn't do that? Because it's like you could
No.
easily do that. Because
No, the reason why
I could have sworn Gunbreaker had some
yeah,
sort of like leap like that.
it
Where
did. It did. Yeah. The biggest problem the reason why they changed it is because the animation was too long. And yeah, I know. Of all of the reasons, I was just like, there are different ways to approach this. Um, ah, don't take away. But yeah, the that's the reason why the uniqueness and all of that changes frustrate me is because a lot of the reason why things will get changed because it's conflicting arguments. Like there are people on the top end who are doing ultimate rating, who are doing the top end rating, who are like, this animation takes too long and animation locks me into this and it means that I will die to a mechanic. And then they will go, okay, great. Well, because we want our fights to be pretty central to our game design, we're going to go ahead and remove it and we're going to add in something else that is um a little bit different. Also, the when you're trying to work out potencies, right, the fact that the gap closers for tanks had potencies on them, like now only two jobs have retained the potency levels on their gap closers, and that's warrior and paladin. Gunbreaker and Dark Knight now have just like the little scoot animation across the floor, which is quicker. And don't get me wrong, because they are DPS based tanks, they wind up being picked more for top end duties. But now, even though it does even out their rotation and there's less chance of actually like being animation lock. And here's the thing, the animation lock problem was not as a gap closer. It was when people were using the gap closer as a part of their rotation to increase their DPS.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. But still, though, like give it back. I want. God, I
Right?
miss Plunge so much. Uh,
Literally
no,
50% of the reason to play Dark Knight is plunge, and now it's gone.
uh,
Don't get me wrong, I like the other abilities. Dark Knight did become somewhat more sustainable in a way in Dawn Trail, but it's still Dark Knight, still Dark Knight.
yeah.
Uh it just like Gunbreaker is the DPS tank. You can take a hit, but you can't take a hit as well as Paladin and Warrior. So like
No.
Prague is done with Warriors and Paladins, and actual clears are done with Dark Knights and Gunbreakers because we're looking for that DPS baby. But all right, so moving on from the job changes in 8.0, because everything for 8.0 is just supposition right now. Let's go ahead and moving on from that job conversation, let's go to the next thing. Was there's a Games Radar article on how the devs are planning to upgrade future content releases and that we will maybe not have to wait long for the next expansion. I'll admit that one has got me hype, 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 hype. Um, he's also revealed that the jobs may get a little bit of an overhaul. We were talking about that, but he does, of course, not want to go into detail. Whatever.
I
Uh,
think we're gonna know more about it with FanFest coming up.
ooh, yeah.
Essentially, yeah, we hopefully we'll learn more. So
April, April,
April.
April. It's coming so soon. It's coming so soon. All right. So a lot of people, if we're talking about like uniqueness and so forth, I have really enjoyed in Dawn Trail the finisher moves that they've been implementing. Like,
Hmm.
okay, so there's nothing that gets me more absolutely hyped in a fight, being able to whip out my big axe and go smash, smash, smash. It's great. It's great. So, and also like the Paladin 3 slice, like anime, thing is so cool. Like, I really have enjoyed the way that they've updated the jobs.
I absolutely love it. Yes, the finishing moves, especially for Paladin, like you have giant swords just crashing down and whatnot.
Oh
It brings so
yeah,
much joy. It brings so much joy to me because it's like
I know.
one of my favorite Final Fantasy games is Final Fantasy Tactics, and that's coming out in a couple weeks. And like so,
Oof.
one of the characters, their abilities, you see it in the Evilise Alliance raids and whatnot. And so you see the giant swords popping up and all that stuff, and just seeing that as a paladin is like this is so satisfying. And
Ah.
and as a red mage, you know, all the finishing moves, or
The big
the two,
flower explosions and the thorn
oh,
roses. So good.
it's so good and it's so pretty, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
All right, so I'm definitely hyped to see more of that sort of thing. But now let's get controversial for a second. You want to get controversial?
Sure, let's go. Let's go. Go for it.
Mare Synchronos. Let's talk about crimes. Let's talk about
Uh-oh.
the modding community.
Oh no.
On the down low, referred to as crimes by certain people in the community, because some people use the mods and some people do not. And we don't discuss who does and who doesn't. At least you don't if you're smart. Unfortunately, a bunch of people were not smart when it came to the tool Mare Synchronos, and they were actually now, were you familiar with what Mare Synchronos did as a mod? Do you do
Yes.
any modding?
No.
Actually, don't admit that. I didn't ask
I
that. No.
so no so here's the thing, like I know people from my old FC
Okay.
that does do it, have
Right.
used the crime and whatnot, and they use it for their own personal usage
Right.
and post up pictures in the Discord and whatnot, and I'm all for it. I love to see the
Yeah.
different visions of people's characters when they're
Oh
using it.
yeah.
And but I personally don't. Uh,
Right.
I don't use it. But here's the thing, though. From what I've gathered and what I've read and whatnot, and what Yoshi P has said in the past, if you do use it, don't talk about it. So
Right.
essentially, all the modders broke the first rule. Don't talk about Fight Club.
Right. Unless it's
But
my
what?
fight club, at which point we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time.
But essentially, what did they do and advertise? They talked about Fight Club.
Oh, they didn't just do that. They were
They
literally posting their Mare codes and their codes for being able to meet up with people. The Mare Synchronos group, I went and I searched around their Discord, got some extra information. Come to find out, those servers were being completely overrun as it was. They were starting to reach max capacity, or at least they were, constantly having upgrades and constantly trying to says there are a lot of modders and there are a lot of people who see this as a game where they get to kind of play out their fantasy. Hey, Final Fantasy. And like you said, Yoshida actually put out a mod usage and culture article or statement. And the statement, to summarize, is basically if you do it for your own purposes on a client side image based setup, that's fine. If it affects the way other people see your character in the game or the way that you interact with the server side of the game, then that is heading into cheating territory, and that is headed into diminishment of enjoyment for others territory.
and you're essentially breaking the terms of service as well. And
Right.
so like and like he laid it out perfectly. Like Yoshi P
Right.
laid it out perfectly where like in that long statement, we'll also have it linked in the description as well. Long
Right.
description of what he meant by, he's been a PC player for years and he's a fan
Right.
of modding and whatnot. Client side, just for you, cool, go for it. But like you
Right.
said, if it started affecting what other people see you and
Right.
how and affecting the server side and especially, uh, information gathering in some aspects, then yeah, you're breaking the terms of service, and especially when you're advertising it in your adventure plate,
Yeah.
that's not good. You're talking
No.
about Fight Club. You
Right.
do not talk about Fight Club unless it's
And
Violet's Fight
let's
Club, then that's completely different. But you don't talk about Fight Club.
But let's also discuss the fact that a lot of people are bemoaning this as though it's like some massive okay, look, I have not appreciated the way an awful lot of people have been down on mods users because of this. And there were a lot of people who used Mayor Synchronos as just a way to share their visual mods in a way that was, I would say, appropriate, or at the very least helped their fantasy of themselves in a digital avatar type state. To give perspective, there are a lot of us, particularly in queer communities, in communities around the world, who may not be able to present ourselves as the way we would like to present ourselves in public, in person. So having a game where you can portray yourself as a trans character, or being able to express your queer identity, or being able to express your a differing gender identity, or whatever, in a safe space where you can experience those things, at least virtually, especially since it is so dangerous for many of us to do it in person. And in particular, when you think about some of the countries that the game is available in, but maybe isn't marketed to, where people can finally feel safe to express those identities, where it may be even illegal in public to do so. So, mods usage can be very useful for helping maintain someone's mental health, being able to maintain someone's um identity, keeping themselves, connected to something or someone that they can feel allows them to express themselves in a way that they may not feel free to. So the community crapping all over those people who enjoyed this mod was a little excessive, in my opinion.
And there's some of the reactions coming from it, saying that, Yoshi P, the Square Enix is trying to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Trying to take down Final Fantasy XIV because of this and what I'm like,
I
that's
don't
not
think
the
the
issue.
I don't think the intention was to actually ban anybody's accounts. I think it was more to just make sure that cease and desists were issued to make sure that the trademark was protected, and also because things were, well, quite frankly, getting out of hand. And while some modding again is very, it can be productive, it can be, a wonderful part of someone's online experience, there are also a lot of people who were posting imagery that can potentially get Final Fantasy XIV banned in certain countries. There are a lot of countries where pornography or anything that alludes to pornography is extremely cracked down on. And if your game is perpetuating that, well, guess what? You don't get to market your game in that country anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
that's a big problem.
I mean, that's what the terms of service are for. I mean,
Right.
essentially, if you're gonna mod, just
Yeah.
do it for the sake of your enjoyment and
Right.
your enjoyment only. If you want to
Right.
take the picture and share it with everyone else, cool, go for it.
Right.
I know tons of people that does it.
Right.
Am I gonna rat them out?
But
No, because it's their enjoyment. It's not affecting
right.
me. It's not affecting my client. So it's
Exactly. Yeah, and I have tons of friends who are modders too, and they're usually the people who do things semi-responsibly, and we're just interested in having a character that they can look at and go, "Wow, that character's so pretty. That's my character," and I'm fine with that. But now let's get into the real controversy. FF logs and
Yes.
Tombstone. So these were two sites where um they I don't think that they've necessarily been given cease and desist yet, but it certainly has come up because of Bears and Chronos and a lot of the other mods. Because here's the thing about FF logs. I don't know if you know this. Even if you do not do any DPS tracking or do any of that yourself, you may have an entry on FF logs.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hey, that's taking your information and putting it out there publicly for other people to go
Yep.
scanning through. And it also serves as a gatekeeping element in the game, something that's not intended by the devs at all. And as someone who's worked in development, you know that devs really don't like things that gatekeep in a game if it's unintended.
Exactly.
So, what's your take on the idea that someone out there may be deciding whether or not you're good enough to be on their EX team based on information you didn't even know was out there?
Um, I don't like it because it's like you're already judging me on my quote unquote performance before you even get to know me at all. So
Right,
like it it's a slippery slope. Um, and like I understand like, we need all the deeps we need. And I get all that and whatnot, but it's like at the same time though, it's like I'm performing well, I know the mechanics. Am I
right,
still contributing like DPS wise? Yes. Is it as high as you want it to be? Am I dying? Am I wasting your time dying at certain parts of the fight? Because if I'm
right,
surviving and I'm contributing, what's the problem?
right, right. Exactly. And I think a lot of this can lead to, here's the thing. People can use these tools responsibly. I'm not
Oh yes.
crapping on people who happen to use DPS meters or anything like that. I think where it becomes a problem is where you are posting. Here's the thing. If I wanted you to know what my DPS was like, I would tell you or I would
Exactly.
have it posted. If you're looking up information about me that was data that was taken without my permission, I have a problem with that because it's you don't know. I could have been having a bad day. I could have been, not putting in my best effort. That's you using data that's not pertinent to make decisions, and I feel as though that's just going to increase toxicity and gatekeeping, and
Yes.
I don't like that.
No, because like I said, you're judging me before you even know me as a person or as a player.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
you're just looking at the analytical part of the fight and whatnot, but not knowing like, did this person die? Does this person die a lot? Does
Right.
he know the mechanic? Like, you know, we go through we've been, fighting like um some of the more recent extreme fights
Right.
and whatnot. And
Uh-huh.
and we prog and stuff.
Right.
Eventually, we're learning, we're all growing up and
Right.
progging and those fight and whatnot. But when you look at just the damage meter or for the logs and
Right.
whatnot, you're not understanding the true picture of what's going on
Right.
during that session at all.
Right. I think also it's one of those situations where you can tell how good or bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, data is nice, and I will admit that data can help you grow. However, I think sometimes an overabundance of data can actually make things worse because you can tell how fast a boss is dying. You can tell whether or not you're getting to end rage in a good time. You don't necessarily need to have something tell you. Now, if you're using a DPS meter for your own personal benefit or because you're just trying to help people pace things out and you're not a toxic a-hole, then quite frankly, I don't care. Keep doing it. It's fine. But do not post to FF logs any of my data because I don't want to share it if I don't want to share it. Like, leave that up to me.
Yeah,
That's my take
exactly.
on it.
No, and I completely agree with you. Like when I was going through one of the more recent trials or whatnot, like the Savage
Uh-huh.
and whatnot, like one member of our group in my
Right.
old FC, he told me about like all the logs or whatnot and what, all the different here's another site where what you did and that keep track of what you did and whatnot, what you could improve on, what you need to
Right.
and all that stuff. So not only there's FF logs, there's also another website that's tracking well, actually not really tracking. When you take FF logs and then you put it into the other website. Anyways, essentially
It's
it tells
what
you
is it? Like FF Analytics or something like
yeah,
that?
it's something like that. It tells you,
Yeah.
what you can improve on, and, here's what you did right, here's what you can work on, and
Right.
all that. So it has this huge breakdown on the fight that you did and what you can do to improve as a player and stuff like that. It's like that's
Right.
nice, and it's very helpful if you're like really hardcore rating, trying to be like world first and all that. I completely understand
Right.
that. But as a casual player,
Right.
I don't need that information out there at
Right.
all.
And I would argue that if you're going into Party Finder to do stuff, then, like, quite frankly, I don't know. I, I think that the idea that we are trying to make sure that everybody is the sweatiest of sweat gamers in like Party Finder is excessive. It's excessive. It's excessive. I call myself a hardcore casual, basically. I spend a lot of time playing this game. I have played everything except for Ultimates. I think the only kind of content I haven't touched at this point is Ultimates. And I think I do fine, but I will also admit to feeling a little self-conscious about it sometimes. And I think that so long as my gear is good and so long as I am staying on the boss and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then the fights should be clearable. And if they aren't, then we should be able to kind of like work it out amongst ourselves. Hey, are you staying on the boss as much as you can? Hey, are you keeping your DPS uptime? Are you, what things can we do to get through the mechanics more cleanly and make sure that we're hitting the boss as much as we possibly can? It's not difficult to work those things out without a meter. You
Oh yeah.
it's not a it's a tool, and so long as you use it as a tool and you are willing to have a spirit of helpfulness with people while using that tool, then you're great. If you're using it to gatekeep and or bash people with it, then quite frankly, um stop it. Just stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, no, no, I completely agree with you. Like at a certain point, you just need to stop, look in the
Uh-huh.
mirror, and reassess, what's truly going on. Because it's like
Right.
it's not that important.
Yeah, it's not that serious, bro. It's not that serious, bro. All right, so now let's move on to so now that we've done our controversy over, let's move on to some fun things Yoshi P was talking about in a recent Screen Rant article I read about. He was asked at I think it was Gamescom. Let me check the article real fast just to make sure. Da, 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 da.
It was
Oh, it
right
was an
around then. That's
interview
a
with it was an interview with Tech Radar. He shared 3 anime he would love to see in Final Fantasy XIV. This was fun. All right, so One Piece. Hey. Genesis Evangelion and Gundam. Okay, so I'm gonna make a controversial yet brave statement. I think all of those those animes can be seen represented in the game as it is. Like they're already there. It's just not an official collab.
I mean,
What do you
true. I
think?
mean, no, you already have the G Savior in the
Right?
in
Right?
in the game, so why not?
There is
uh,
full Gundam, y'all. You just got to go find it.
and I think
Um
one piece will work really, really well, especially for Limsa. Uh,
oh, there's aspects of it in Limsa, but for those people who are up on the Dawn Trail, um I'm not going to go any further, but all I'm just going to say is Dawn Trail and One Piece in the same sentence, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
yep,
about.
yep,
All right. And then Neon Genesis Evangelion, like we're talking about themes of life and death and depression and how it affects, families and how they affect how we exist and like yeah, big themes. And also Gundam.
and also Gundam. For me, it's
But
like it's a yes, yes, and yes.
yeah. So what
If
things would you like anime, right? You're big into
yes,
anime?
yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So you're definitely the person to ask this. I like anime somewhat. Like I'm not opposed to any kind of media. Like I'll experience a little taste of it, but like I'm kind of meh on anime to be honest. So, but what would you say is like your anime dream collab? Like what anime do you want to see in Final Fantasy 14?
Ooh, that's a good question. This one would be really off the cuff, on this
Uh-huh.
one, especially if you have your cooking job up there.
Right?
I would like to see a Food Wars collab for Final Fantasy
Ah!
14.
Yes!
If
That would be so hype.
and I know that singling out a single job in
Yeah.
14, but I think it could be done properly with all the job quests or all the gathering or no,
Right.
not gathering, all the crafting
Oh
jobs or whatnot.
yeah. There could definitely be like a Food Wars aspect added
Yes,
to all of the crafting jobs in one way or
exactly.
another. That would be cool. That would be
Like
real cool.
like you have like um how can I like the armor can build like certain items or whatnot. Like here's the kitchen. We need the kitchen and whatnot
Ooh.
to build this. You have the culinary to build all to craft all the foods and stuff. So it's like I would like to see Food Wars in there because I think
Yeah.
the anime is so silly enough
Oh
where
yeah.
you can implement that, and it'll be a nice break to not just like the regular um DPS jobs, tanking and healing job quests. This is something for like the crafters. Something they would get
Yeah.
excited for and whatnot. So
Oh yeah. That would definitely be like big time. I think that would be I would think that I would have fun with that. I've never even really like I've seen I think one episode of Food Wars, but I would still be hyped for that. That would still be fun.
see,
Um
I watched the entire series, and like people based the entire series off of one or up to three episodes and the certain scenes of it or whatnot. I'm like, but if you watch the entire thing, it's like it's not strictly that. Like the reason why they show that is pretty much the term fugasm.
right.
That's essentially it, but it's like they don't show anything beyond that at all. So
Oh, there's actually like a very Food Wars-esque thing in the culinary. like job quests, especially through like I think it's level 50, 60. If you haven't leveled your culinary into that point, please go do so. It is the most fun. There's a lovely little like story bit there. I miss the development of the stories for the crafting and gathering jobs. Not so much the gathering jobs, I'll be honest with you, but the crafting jobs used to be so fun.
Yeah,
So,
I'm slowly working my way up with my culinary job.
mhm.
Uh, Still low level, like extremely low level, but I'm trying to get all the other ones up first, and then I think culinary would be my last one, because of how low level it is right now. So just trying to working on one at a time for the most part.
I'll be honest with you, I love Spy X Family, and every single time I watch it, I'm just like, "Oh my god, this would be such a Hildebrand. This would be such a Hildebrand." Like,
Question,
yeah.
question then, where are you at with Hildebrand's story?
Oh, I'm completely up to date on everything.
Okay.
You think I'd leave anything behind? Absolutely not. Like 24 hours after it has dropped, I'm like, "Been there, done that. Let's go."
No, I love Spy X Family, and I can definitely see like aspects of that into the game as well, especially with Hildebrand.
Oh my god, can you imagine how awesome it would be if the whole family got isekai'd into Final
Oh
Fantasy
my goodness.
XIV and they wound up like with Nashu and Hildebrand and they have to like help like this incredibly competent, amazingly talented group of people who have like spy and assassin training deal with Hildebrand.
And I want to see like the little chat bubble of Anya like
Yes.
reading Hildebrand's mind. I
Oh
That's
my
what
god,
I want to see.
yes.
That's what I want to see. If that ever happens, that's what I want to see is the little chat bubble. What she's thinking, what
Yes.
he's thinking in his head.
That would be so awesome. Anyway, so yeah, this was the one that was the shocker for me, although it explains why Yoshi P's so good at like or why he was he did say at one point in an interview that he was inspired by World of Warcraft, that like he had a friend ship him the game from the United States and he like had to actually like finagle the game onto his computer to be able to play before they had an Asian release because he was so hyped to play World of Warcraft. And so that has been, and that love has evolved into what we now get to experience in Final Fantasy XIV. But he mentioned being an absolutely just mad cap fan of Diablo. Have you ever played Diablo?
Yes. I spent I spent a lot of time in Diablo 2, Diablo 3.
Mm,
Um, Not as much time in Diablo 4. I mean, I have gone through the main story in Diablo 4. I'm slowly
right.
working through the expansion as we speak. But
Ah,
I I I love Diablo 2 and 3. And I'm assuming Yoshi P also loved those two as well.
oh
And
yeah.
it's like I Diablo 2 was really fun and really
Oh
different
yeah.
because each time you logged on, the map was different. Your setting
Yeah,
was different. So you know things were not in the same area. So you had to go and find walk around and trying to find where the cave is at, and all that stuff
right.
to be able to progress through the story or whatnot. And I
You
think
know what
they
I think about it? I think about it? Don't you think that maybe Diablo was the inspiration for Deep Dungeons?
100%, 100%. Are
Oh
you kidding
yeah.
me?
I think
Yeah,
that Deep Dungeons were definitely Yoshi P's way of going, "Oh my god, I love Diablo. Let's put Diablo in our game." One of the reasons why Final Fantasy XIV to me is so successful as a game is because it has so many different inspirations and different game modes.
you want to bring players back to doing deep dungeons?
Oh,
Have have them open up a treasure chest, right? And a
Right.
portal pops open, and you all enter in, and it's the cow level.
Oh!
You want to bring players
Yes!
back, you put that into Final Fantasy XIV, and you'll have people running
Yes!
back and doing deep dungeons.
Oh, that would be so awesome. It's like one of the things that I love about what they've done with new treasure maps is not only do we have the slots, which is a visually interesting thing to do, but also now when you get to like special levels or whatever, there's actually the concept of the run around and do something completely different to get your special mount. So it's not just fighting. There's also a run around and grab treasure. There's a um the bosses are different, and then sometimes you're just dealing with a bunch of little mobs, and it's both visually and interactively interesting, and I want more of that, please.
Yep. 100%. I am with you lockstep with that.
Awesome. Well, I think the last thing we really need to kind of like mention is if you are a merch fan for Final Fantasy 14 or any other Square Enix, I'll be honest with you, my favorite type of merch that you can get is the books. The art books are beautiful.
Oh yeah, most
The
definitely.
Eorzean encyclopedias, do you have those?
Oh yeah, I do. I certainly do.
Oh my god, I love it
As I'm
so
reaching
much.
out to my shelf right now, and here's the third
Yeah,
book. I
nice.
have the other two.
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
it's it's so good, so much information. Like I
Oh,
literally want to sit down and just read through all three of the encyclopedias or whatnot.
well, I have the
Um,
Shadowbringer art book as well, and it is so beautiful.
I have
Um,
the which one do I have? I have both Endwalker books.
so there's a new cookbook coming out. Do you have the first cookbook?
I do have the first cookbook.
So do I. Okay, okay. Honesty,
Have I
honesty.
made anything out of it? Not yet, but I'll get there eventually.
I have like several bookmarked pages on it, but I have the ADHD real bad, so I forget. I'm like, I want to make this, and then I'll go off and do something else for a while.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
no, the recipes look really good. They look legit, and I'm very interested in picking it up. We can go ahead and drop the Games Radar article where they actually went into more detail about the cookbook that's coming out.
Yes.
Um, and as far as like overall merchandise, I have to admit the plushies and the books are probably my favorite. I'm not as much of like a keychain or a statuette person. I don't really have good storage space for putting the Do you have any of the statuettes? We have what?
I have one acrylic
Okay.
statue. I want you to guess who do I have?
Um, Istola, maybe.
She would have been my second purchase if I got it.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
Give me a hint.
I
Give me a hint.
I so she plays my favorite my main caster class,
Uh, uh.
and her brother is a
Oh
sage.
my God, Alice A.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I love her.
She's so great. I do love her so
I
much.
love
In fact, I
her.
love her so much more than Blue Alice A. Um, I'm gonna hitch heck from some of the people in the group for that. But yes, as far as I'm concerned, there is Alice A, and then there is
Blue
Blue
Alice.
Alice A, and Blue Alice A is just not as good.
That's funny.
uh, um Yeah, but no, I really love the books. And this year, apparently, they are coming out with a cookbook gift set for those people who are looking for something to give to maybe some people who both like cooking and Final Fantasy XIV. Hint, hint. Um,
Don't hit at me.
I'm not hitting at you. I'm hoping that my wife will listen to this. Please, wife, listen. But I think that's pretty much all I had for today on Final Fantasy XIV news. I'm really I am so unbelievably hype for the 7.35 Pilgrim's Traverse is gonna be so great.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining the discussion today. Make sure that you leave a comment, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts for more episodes of the Eorzean Update and other excellent podcasts from the HJP Podcast Network on gaming, community building, and more. You can also head to heatherjustplay.org for more information on the network, our community, and to find links to join us.
Thanks for listening, and may all your Etherite travels be free.